20 minutes later.
All right, guys, so here is the end result from what I was doing this morning. This morning I went ahead and cleared a lot of brush out of the way, cut it down with the Sawzall until the second battery died. And then I went ahead and got the chainsaw and started to go to clear a couple of trees that are in the way. So you could see this last tree, actually it was two trees that were connected together at the base. So one tree was dead, the smaller tree was dead, and the larger tree was alive. So I decided to go ahead and cut the smaller tree first, and that went pretty smoothly. Since they're so close, I had to put the chainsaw in between the two trees to make the second or the third cut. So that went okay. It freed itself, and it kicked back a little bit, but it was fine. And the second one, I went way too deep with the wedge. So let me show you here. So you can see the base. Looks like I went more than roughly halfway with the cut to the right. That was my wedge, and then when I came to do the back cut, I wasn't holding the blade straight, and I was kind of curving it, so it's a little hard to see, but you may be able to make it out that it's not flat. It's a little concave there. It goes in a little bit on this side, so that's why, combination of things. So that's part of the reason why you could see the chain marks. The chain started heating up, and I didn't know why, but now I see why, because it wasn't a straight cut in the back, and then you can see the chain marks where the tree, actually the weight of the tree was on the back cut, which is not where you want it. Ideally I would have wedges as well, and when I went through the first cut, should have been a lot more shallow, and then after that, the back cut, there would have been enough meat there to put a wedge if there was weight pushing back towards the back cut. I would have been able to wedge it and keep the weight from binding up the chain. So I knew what to do, but my truck broke down, and it's in the shop, and I only took the bare essentials with me. So that left me without a real good axe, and that left me without any wedges. So I haven't seen my wedges in a while. I'm not sure what I did with them, but once I'm starting to cut trees larger than 10 inches, 12 inches, I definitely need to have the wedges handy, just for situations like this where you go ahead, pretty big trees, and I had to use the skid steer, as you guys saw. And thankfully that's here, otherwise my chainsaw would have been stuck there for a little while until I was able to come back with some proper tools to get it out, or the tree would have fell on its own. The trees, should I say, would have fell on their own. So yeah, so this is where I'm at now. This was another tree that I cut down. So again, I'm going pretty hefty with the first cut, the wedge. You can see it there. So this one wasn't as bad, but it's really supposed to only be in a third the diameter of the tree. So this wedge was here. So I'm sorry, on the other side. So basically that little more than a third, and I had to go and cut twice because I didn't come with the angle cut on the right angle. So as you can see, it's not the right. It shouldn't be that divot in the middle. It should be just straight up to the middle of the tree. So anyway, learning curves, and you know, I have my chaps on, and definitely need my hard hat and face shields the more I start to do these type of trees where they're pretty high up. This one was probably a 60 footer at least, and yeah. So but other than that, based on what the future roadway looked like before I started this morning, you really couldn't see. Now you can see a lot further in, and I'll walk you guys through what I did before I clear everything up. So this is another tree was dead, so I figured it wasn't really in the way. it was right at the edge of the 12 feet. So I decided to get it out of the way and cut it now, because eventually this thing would fall on its own. Another tree here that was definitely way too close to the roadway, actually two. I cut both of these out of the way. So I'm sorry, one. This is not a tree. This is part of the stump that I cut out. So I don't want to go too low. You're really not supposed to go that low when you're using a chainsaw. This soil here is very, it doesn't have a lot of grit to it, a lot of sand. So it's very organic. This land hasn't been used before in this manner. So there's not a lot of rocks or anything that are high. So that's why I went lower than normal here. And I also don't have a mini excavator to take out the stump. So I'm going to be leaving some of these in. When it's off to the side like that, it's not too bad. It's not going to be right in the way of the, right in line with the tires. So eventually when it does corrode, I'm just going to have to backfill that area a little bit more with some more gravel. So, but yep, so different trees, depending on which way they were leaning, I decided to cut them and let them fall naturally. So this one fell this way. So I'm going to cut back just enough to clear the roadway. If it's not too much of a hassle, I'll clear a little further back. But sometimes seeing trees that are down, it looks natural. So I want to be able to keep a natural look as much as possible. And this was the first two that I cut. So really smaller trees. But yeah, so that one I cut with a chainsaw. I'm sorry, with a sawzall, and this one was with the chainsaw. So this is the first one with the chainsaw, and it worked pretty easily, went pretty well. So anyway, practice. I'm gonna have plenty of practice. You can't see, but the area where I'm gonna be putting up my tent is right behind these clusters of trees. It's high. It's the highest area in this section of the land. So I'm going to use that to yeah, to be camping out, and yeah, take it from there. So now that I know the chainsaw is not broken and there's nothing wrong with the chain oil, I thought that was a concern of mine when I saw it smoking, but I just got to make sure to make straight cuts, so, and not burn out my chain. And also I need to get a second chain just in case something happens to this one, and also some files so I can sharpen the chain. But so far so good. It's doing pretty well without any sharpening. So yeah, so that's where we're at now. Next video you'll see is me cutting these trees down into, depending on how they look. Like this one is something that's good, it's already dead. This is going to be pretty good firewood. So even though it's pine, it's not going to last that long. But anyway, something for outside, campfire, whatever. I can use some of this wood that I'm cutting now. All right, so this is the next day after I finished cutting down actually most of the trees. I still have one more to go, but it's total of 12 trees for now that I cut down, and I will be cutting them up into smaller pieces, at least enough to get it off of the roadway for now, and then I can always come back and chop it up into firewood size pieces. So yeah, but that's my mission for today, is get this all cleared up, because tomorrow is Monday and I will be bringing in probably 4 to 5 7-yard loads worth of riprap, this stuff here, and yeah, taking it from there. So I just need enough room. I'm gonna put my trailer to the left here. The back of it's going to be where this big set of trees is one that grew into the other, and yeah, that's to be enough room for the roadway to come straight and continue down the path here. So yep, so I'll be seeing if I can get some decent footage. I'll probably do a time lapse and yeah, start from the end and give you a view of what it looks like now and what it's going to look like at the end of the cutting up of all those logs.